Briggs, sports consultant and mentor. Today's conversation is going to be super fun. I like this one. It's about turnkey athletes. It's a phrase that I've kind of, I don't want to say created, but it's a phrase that I'm using, right? And turnkey athletes is exactly what it means. It means that this athlete is already ready to go. There's no need to adjust because the athlete's ready to go. So, in the recruiting process for colleges, there are a couple layers of things. But at the end of the day, I'll go through the layers. But on the surface, it comes down to coaches are looking for athletes who are already en route to being good. And the closer they are to being already good, the easier it is for the coach to perform as a coach and the athletes to do what they're going to do. So here's an example, right? Let's say you are the basketball coach for a 6-year-old basketball team. You're naturally going to play the top 5 athletes, right? Maybe it's physically, or maybe it's the best 5 that work together. But at the end of the day, if you default on the most knowledgeable, the best athletes, the top 5, you're going to be in a good place. Okay. When it comes to track and field, you have coaches who spend a lot of time coaching, developing, all that stuff. That coach wants an athlete that already has a base level of talent. And having this base level of talent makes the job easier. Like, for example, if I'm coaching an athlete that has no idea what track and field is, it's going to take me longer to teach that athlete how to do an event because they have to learn everything. But if I have an athlete that has been on track for 6 months, 10 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, it may take me less time to develop that athlete because the athlete already has certain skill sets available. Okay, just to hammer in this idea or concept, it's kind of like if you've already taken division and multiplication for math, having you learn algebra, it'll be easier if you already have the foundation set. Okay, all right, I think you understand that concept. So a turnkey athlete is what colleges have shown that they're looking for. Okay. There are schools that the requirement to make the team is further than some of, take that back. The requirement to make the team is further than the athletes that are currently on the team. So, for example, there's going to be requirements of to make this team to walk on, you must jump, let's say 48 feet for triple jump for guys. And you look at the roster, and there's maybe one guy that jumps 52 feet, and the rest jump 46. And you happen to jump 46. And you're like, bruh, what's going on? Like, why can't I get on the team? And you're telling me to jump further than almost half your team. It makes no sense. So the turnkey athlete is saying, I want an athlete that jumps 52 feet in high school, even though we have a senior jumping the exact same distance. I want the 52-foot jumper, so next year I can have 2 jumpers at regionals. The turnkey athlete is that athlete in high school that's already ready to go. Jasmine Moore was an example of a turnkey athlete, right? She jumped 45 feet windy in triple jump, 44 feet, 43 feet consistently. Tara Davis, same thing. You consider a turnkey athlete because let's say you never improve them, those 2 girls, and you put them into a D1 track meet, nationals or whatever, a D1 consideration. Them as high schoolers, 17, 18 years old, already make national championships and could score points at nationals just as they are without even talking to them. Just say, hey, switch your jersey, go over there and jump. That's considered a turnkey athlete. Okay. So what we've seen throughout the years, the more recent years, is that these standards of these schools have gone up. However, the development and the progression has gone down, right? because of the COVID situation we had, we see that there are less people working, and we're trying to figure out how do we have those people that are working do more. So now you're going to have a coach that used to just do jumps horizontal, but now does jumps and multis. So now they're doing javelin, hammer, shot put, pole vault, high jump, hurdles. Like they're doing everything. But there's one coach still, right? Or they maybe have an assistant that helps them, but it's still one main coach. Like if I went to college, I would want to have a coach that coached the jumps so I can learn at the best of my abilities. My coach, Coach Hudson in college, coached the high jump and the triple and long. That was it. But there are some schools that the coach does that and multis, and the coach is busy all the time. So now you're at practice and you jump and you look around, the coach has his back turned or her back turned to you because they're watching pole vault, or the pole vault pit is on the other side of the track and they're running back and forth. It sucks for the coaches. They have to do so much more, right? Like I understand it. And so it's not the coach's fault in this situation, right? However, the system is set up to um, dilute the actual learning process for the athletes and also the teaching process for the coaches. Okay. So what I'm getting at is it makes more sense to have a turnkey athlete. But now, as a high schooler, what does that mean for you? It means that you have to be college level ready prior to getting into high school. It also means that, think about this, right? You want to get recruited, but you have to jump 20 feet, 19 feet in long jump for a big D1 school for a scholarship. But you have to be accepted into the school in May or before that, right? Or signing day is actually earlier than that. So if you want to get signed on scholarship, you would have had to already jump that 19-foot qualifying mark when? In the beginning of season or last year. So you need to be college level ready junior year, which is very stressful and very hard to do, right? But ideally, you want to have your best marks at the end of season, which is typically towards May, early June. So now it's like, okay, so I have to perform at a college level while I'm in high school early versus the other programs that have great coaches that really develop, that can say, I see you're jumping 17 feet as a junior, right? I know you're going to progress to jumping 18, maybe 19 feet because of the way you jump, right? At the end of your senior year, I want to recruit you as an 18-foot jumper midway through season. And I know I can develop you to that 19-foot jumper. So when you get here, you're jumping 19 to 20 feet. I don't really hear that many conversations like that. What I hear is, thanks for reaching out to us. I appreciate your email. Get back to us when you jump 19 feet. I just don't understand that conversation. There are so many athletes that I actually take on that aren't of that talent level. Majority of my athletes aren't at that level. I'm going to give an example. Colin Green, he's a junior at Great Oak. Basketball guy, strong, not a turnkey athlete, just learning, developing. But has the tools to actually be in a good place. Last year was jumping 41.11, right? I had to balance him, get him ready to go, build his confidence up. And he worked on all these things, had a great offseason. Now his personal best is 45.1. Halfway through season, I think he'll be able to get to 46. 47 is a reach, but this year, the way he's progressing, 46 feet. But still, he's already improved 3 to 4 feet, right? So it's like, that's just this year. But then I also envision, what are his improvements going to be next year based off of what I see this year? It's like he should be within that 47, 48-foot range next year. That's just based off of how he looks now. But he's going to have another great offseason then he can actually go from 47 to even 50 feet. 50 feet is within possibility for him based off of what he looks like now. So I'm focused on a 50-foot jumper and developing him to that point. And my reality is that. So as he's jumping, I know we have 2 years to develop and I know how it's going to go. But my confidence levels in my coaching ability is high. So if I'm saying I only will recruit certain athletes of caliber onto my club team, what is it saying about me and or my club team? It's saying that, well, I don't have the ability to develop. Now, do I? I may or may not, right? But the implication is that I don't, because I just need these athletes that can qualify for JOs. I want athletes I can develop because that's what I enjoy. Ethan Fong last year went from 43.4 to 48 feet the next year. 13 months, right? Obi at Cal Berkeley, he went from 43.8 to 47.7, right? In 3 weeks, he went from 43.8 to 46.8. Like, some of these athletes already had the talent. They just needed to do one or two things to modify them. Some other athletes needed a completely, like, a whole reconstruction of the way that they think. But at the end of the day, it's possible to develop them. So why is it that we're saying we need athletes to jump, girls to long jump 19.8 to be considered a walk-on, when a 19.8 scores in the Pac-12 or Big Ten or whatever? Like, it just seems like we're not, as coaches, we're not taking the time to develop and mold these athletes. And so now what's happening for the high schoolers is even worse. Now they're saying, I'd rather go to the portal to see the talent there because I don't have to worry about developing a freshman from being a teenager to an adult, because there is a transition period where you're going to have to figure out life. Right? We've already seen that because they're in college, they've already gone through those bumps of the freshman 10, the party life, because you're just really just like without parents around, you're just going crazy. Like, it's almost like you want to have a JUCO transfer coming in mentality, but have 4 years to work with them, right? It's just like the turnkey athlete can be great. Ideally, you want yourself to be a turnkey athlete. But if you're not, then you're at a huge disadvantage because you now are going up against those turnkey athletes. Before, you would have athletes that are trying to get into college and you compete to get there. Now you have athletes who are already in college looking to transfer and compete against you. So now you have JUCO athletes who are college level athletes. You now have transfers that are looking to go to your college. Then you're looking to go to college. Now it's like, okay, I jump 39 feet in triple jump. Let's say I'm a girl, right? And the coach is looking at me as a 39-foot girl jumper. And then the coach is also, I don't have my name up there. There we go. Keenan Briggs, Pro Live, Talk Track Live, Talk Live. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so you compete. It's you, the 39-foot girl jumper, versus a freshman or let's say sophomore 39-foot jumper. It's like the coach has to decide between the two. And if one's already competed at the conference championships, it's like, I got to develop this freshman and get her to understand this whole thing. Or I have an athlete that we jumped against last year and now they're coming to our school. Well, that seems easier. So I'm indifferent when it comes to this turnkey athlete process. It does 100% make sense. It's better to have an athlete that's ready to go already. But the coaching game is so fun to develop an athlete who has no idea what he or she is doing. In many cases, it's easier, right, to coach that athlete. But basically, for the athlete, become a turnkey athlete. Become a mature athlete. Become an athlete that coaches would rather have on their team because you know what's going on and you're mentally ready to get there. So that requires you to have professional support and direction. This is a plug for my virtual team, right? But you want to have these elements in place already so that when you show up on campus, you're not trying to learn everything. You're already hitting the track running, so to speak. Okay. So, yeah, for the coaches, challenge yourself. It's okay to have athletes that needs to develop. Show your worth, show your value, show your ability. And if you don't have the ability, then go get turnkey athletes. But for the athletes, make yourself a turnkey athlete and or make yourself an athlete that has the potential and confidence that is ready to go. Okay? All right. Till next time.